I'm Pat Kazakoff. I'm here at King Philip Middle School with WHCI in West Hartford, Connecticut. So we're here for the primaries. There are two races in the primary. The first race is District 1-1, and what we're voting for here is who is going to be the state representative for the 15th Connecticut State Assembly. In the second race, the Republicans are choosing who will be the person who will represent them in the Senate race against the Democratic Senator Chris Murphy. So tell me why you think it's important to vote in the primary.
I think it's important to vote at every opportunity that you can. It's your only way that you can have peace with yourself that you have done what you should do in a democracy.
Well, I think it's extremely important to vote in the primaries. And I used to be one of those people who infrequently voted in the primaries. And then about 5 or 6 years ago, I listened to a podcast and it talked about how important the primaries are. And it truly makes sense because if you don't vote in the primary, particularly here in Connecticut, you have to be a Republican or a Democrat. Independents don't vote in the primaries. You are allowing other people to make your choice for candidates in your election. And so the only way you're going to have your voice heard as to who you want to have as candidates is by voting in the primaries.
What people don't understand about our election system is we're a representative government, and it's the little ones that kind of support the big ones and all the way up. The local government is, I think, more important than the federal. They're the ones who make the decisions about what happens around here. Every vote counts. Every election counts. It's part of civics. If you're not doing it, then you really don't have a right to complain about anything.
I think it's important to vote any chance you get, period. That's all right. So why not use it?
Many people don't realize how important the primaries are, and it makes the decision of who your candidate will be against the contester. So I think it's really important. We haven't had an enormous turnout, and we want to get more people out here to vote. And make sure you know what district you're in. That will save you a lot of time and when you're coming out to vote.
The local elections are just as important as the presidential elections because that's where things really happen. Decisions really get made for the people.
I think what is important that we start getting a true honesty and integrity from our elected people.
So I think it's important to vote in primaries, but I think it's important to vote in any election, specifically being an African-American woman. Our ancestors fought for this right, so I think it's my responsibility to vote every time I can.
So what about the local issues? What about local issues are that you care about?
I am a retired teacher. Education is always important. Sanitation is important. Some of the basic services for our elderly. We are a population that is getting older. We need to start thinking about those. Those are local issues. We have a lot of federal people talking about them, but they're all handled locally. As we handle those problems on a local level, they make a difference because people see what works, what doesn't work. But it wasn't happening unless people vote. It's got to start someplace.
It's extremely important to have your voice heard in a democracy. And if you don't vote, then please don't complain because you didn't want your voice to be heard. It's extremely important, particularly now, with all the issues with voting rights, civil rights, women's rights, and in your own neighborhood, you need to be heard. So it's extremely important. For young people, I hope young people are going to come out and vote, in particular this year, and get that started for a lifetime of voting. Because the future is theirs.
Redistricting happened a few years ago, and I think people weren't aware of where they vote, and if they don't come out regularly every 2 years or every year, then they don't know their district. So there's a large map, and you can go online and look at the map to determine where you vote.
Everybody should vote. I hope as many people come out as possibly can. to show that they care about their democracy.
Vote. VOTE. They should make a song like that, like YMCA, and maybe people will get out. It counts.